I did not think I'd be saying this at the start of the season, but we might be about to win the league. Now, our destiny, unfortunately, is not in our own hands. Leeds currently have a 2-point cushion at the top of the championship, so if they win both of their remaining fixtures, it's game over. Leeds aside, there are 2 other teams standing between us and the league title, so I'll be showing you highlights of our game against third place Middlesbrough before we round out the season at home with a featured game against Coventry City. And since this is the season finale, we'll also be giving out our end of season awards. We'll be signing our quota of youth academy players before our scouts return from their trips, and we'll be looking ahead to next season. Fortunately, we do have a fully fit squad going into these last 2 games of the season, so Johannes Thorup will have as many options as possible to choose from. He will have his full tactical arsenal at his disposal. We did, however, only manage a 1-1 draw in the away leg against Middlesbrough. Fortunately, we have made some excellent new additions to the squad since then, and there's been a good amount of internal growth from our own players. So Johannes Thorup has sent out his strongest 11 in his 4-2-3-1 formation with full confidence that they can get the job done. The game was an open and attacking one from the very first whistle, and we had the better of the opening exchanges. Johnny Rowe coming closest to scoring, nodding the ball down on the edge of the 6-yard box, forcing a really good save from the Middlesbrough goalkeeper. But although we did dominate the early portion of the game, it was actually Middlesbrough who opened the scoring, hitting us on a quick counter-attack down the right-hand side. Some confusion at the back left Azaz open in the penalty area, and he made no mistake with the finish. We did, of course, turn up the tempo and push for an equaliser, though, and whilst Johnny Rowe was closest to opening the scoring for us earlier in the game, he was the one to get the assist. Borja Sainz this time nodding the ball down on the edge of the 6-yard box. Nothing the Middlesbrough goalkeeper could do this time, though. And we've seen Tieno Ballo's play really take a step forward in recent weeks. We've seen him score a couple of goals like this in recent episodes. This time, however, he couldn't quite wrap his left foot around it quite enough and pushed the effort wide. And Johnny Rowe was back in amongst the action in the second half as well. Marius Wolf this time finding him at the back post, but the volleyed effort, like Tieno Ballo's moments earlier, was forced wide. Despite another bright performance, Tieno Ballo made way for Christian Fasnacht, who moments after coming on found himself in acres of space in the penalty area. He managed to keep his composure in front of the home fans and tuck the ball away to make it 2-1 City. Unfortunately, though, we would only have the lead for 2 minutes, to the referee gifting Middlesbrough an incredibly soft free kick on the edge of the box, which was dispatched expertly. It looked as though we might have a winner 10 minutes from time, though, as Johnny Rowe slipped Josh Sargent through on goal. The Middlesbrough goalkeeper came up with an unbelievable save, and the home fans were starting to think that it just might not happen for their side. With both teams pressing for a winner, the game opened up a bit, and it opened up again for Christian Fasnacht, who found himself in the penalty area once more with a bit of space. Again, he picked out that far corner, and he did manage to make it 3-2 City just 2 minutes from time. And that is how the game would end. So it looked at various moments as if it wasn't going to be our day, as Middlesbrough were going to take a point, maybe even 3 points. But we managed to fight our way back into it. We managed to get ahead late in the game, and we managed to hang on for the last couple of minutes to that victory. I'll be honest, I was pretty much all set to sell Christian Fasnacht this summer. He's been less than impressive so far this season, but I think we might have to rethink that strategy after that 2-goal performance. We said in the last episode that we would not only need to win both of our games, but we would need to rely on either Bristol City or Cardiff to take points from Leeds. And that's exactly what Bristol City managed to do. So after a 3-2 victory for us, a 3-2 defeat for Leeds, and just a single game remaining in the season, we currently sit top of the table. So it is all to play for as we head into our featured game of the episode and our final game of the season. We beat Coventry City 2-0 in our previous league fixture, but they did knock us out of the FA Cup on penalties, so it's currently 1-1 on the season. Coventry City are once more going to line up in their 4-2-3-1 formation. They are not on the best run of form to close out the season, having won just 2 out of their last 5 games. After much deliberation with his backroom staff, Johannes Thorup has made a big call and decided to go with his 4-4-2 today. So Callum Chambers comes into the back line along with Wesley Hoyt. Marius Wolf and Harry Toffolo will of course play at fullback. Rowe, Nunez, McLean, Sainz all keep their place, as does Sargent up front, but Adam Eder is going to join Josh Sargent up front. Tieno Ballo, despite a good performance against Middlesbrough, drops to the bench. So it all comes down to this. We can technically still win the league even if we lose here against Coventry, but that would of course mean that we're relying on Leeds to lose as well. So without further ado, let's head over to Carrow Road. Let's leave nothing up to chance. Let's make sure we get those 3 points and win this league.
Welcome to Carrow Road. Welcome our visitors, Coventry City and the Canaries, Norwich.
So we are up in the commentary box for the very last time here in Season 1 of our realistic Norwich City career mode. And I did not anticipate being in this position at the beginning of the series. That's a rash challenge early. And that's left a slight knock on Kenny McLean. We'll see if he's able to run that off. I did not anticipate being in this position at the beginning of the season. I certainly didn't anticipate being in this position, 2 months ago? When Leeds had what looked to be an unassailable lead at the top of the table. Borja Sainz, Adam Eder. Nunez brings it down on the edge of the box. Sims back to challenge though. But somehow Leeds have capitulated in these final stages of the season. A loss against Bristol City. Absolutely disastrous for them. I honestly anticipated, even if we were to win our 2 games here today, or here in this episode at least, that Leeds would still win the league. Nunez, can we get off to the perfect start? Eder, yes we can! Within 5 minutes, Adam Eder opens the scoring. And there is still a lot of football left to be played. Probably still a full 90. Injury time considered. But the league is this close. We are this close to a 3rd league title in, 6, 7 seasons for Norwich City? Maybe 8, something like that. They won a couple under Daniel Farke. And Adam Eder has put us so close. Close enough that we could almost taste it to a 3rd league title. Definitely the 3rd in a decade. That's absolutely certain. Still a lot of football left to be played though. But this is exactly why Johannes Thorup decided... Josh Sargent, that's such strong play. Exactly why Thorup decided to go with the 4-4-2. Sargent, get up, get up. Sargent is currently on the ground just outside the centre circle. Kenny McLean has run off his injury. But Sargent still is barely moving. He is back on his feet now. That is not what we want to see. Marius Wolf, good run in behind. Blocked by Coventry, but with a hand, says the referee. And we will have to monitor Josh Sargent very closely over the course of the next 10-15 minutes or so. Because that looks worrying. Nunez. Johnny Rowe once more. Sargent at the back post. Looks fairly mobile. And it's certainly not his head that's injured. He was clutching his foot. And to be fair, I wouldn't bet against Josh Sargent scoring. Even if he is one-footed, he can hop into the penalty area and get on the end of it with his head. But we have seen already why we are playing this 4-4-2 formation. Bodies in the box, targets to aim for. And this may be the way that we look to play in the Premier League next season. I did ask for your opinion in a recent episode and in a poll on YouTube as to how we should approach trying to survive in the Premier League. Adam Eder, what a save, what a save. Really good link-up play between Sargent and Eder up front. Really good partnership going. And this could be the way that we look to play in the Premier League next year. 2 up front. Looking to defend first. Looking to be solid, robust, resilient defensively against some of these top teams that we will be facing in the Premier League. But then look to spring forward on the counter-attack. Look to put the ball into the box often. With the likes of Marius Wolf, Harry Toffolo, Borja Sainz, aiming for the likes of Josh Sargent and Adam Eder. It's exactly the strategy we've taken on today. And it's worked to a T so far. Borja Sainz could be away on the left-hand side. How much pace does the Coventry City right-back have? A decent amount. So Borja Sainz will just turn back and relay the ball to Harry Toffolo. Nunez finds Wolf. Johnny Rowe, I think, is offside, and he is. Took up a really good space there, but just drifted a little too far forward. If he was to just... And he's not far offside, to be fair. If he was to just kind of hold his position and drift out towards the touchline there, then that could have been another very dangerous situation, because Rowe would have had space to cross. Eder and Sargent both would, of course, been in there waiting for that delivery. And it's been a really poor first 20 minutes for Coventry. We've been good, but Coventry have been really poor. They've allowed us to play. They've presented very little threat going forward. Marius Wolf, that's a better run. Sargent, back post. Wolf just about finds him. The goalkeeper punches clear when it looked like he could have comfortably claimed that with both hands. Nice little turn from Marius Wolf. Just finds Marcelino Nunez. Wolf once more. And we do have Chambers at the back today. He's got the nod ahead of the likes of Shane Duffy, Jose Cordoba, to pair with Wesley Hoyt. Because we are looking to dominate possession against Coventry. And Callum Chambers is the centre-back best suited to that kind of game plan. Duffy is a better defender than Chambers, but Chambers is better on the ball. Wesley Hoyt is kind of a nice medium between the two. Nunez. Coventry City a little harder to break down at the moment. They have shaped up defensively, and that does help when you drop all 11 players behind the ball. But going forward, they've still offered very little. They could present a threat here, though. Sargent back to defend, but still nursing that injury, which is not a good sign. Good challenge, Kenny McLean. And Sargent comes away. Johnny Rowe on the right-hand side with space to run into. And the pace to run into it. He's just going to have to strike. What a strike it is. That was tucking just inside the far post. And it's another good save from the Coventry City goalkeeper as we approach the half an hour mark. I really don't want Sargent to be injured. Of course, we don't have any games after this to play. So it's not going to be a particularly impactful injury from that perspective. Kenny McLean, Eder at the back post, can't win the header. And Sargent will, of course, have the entire summer to recover. However, Sargent is top goal scorer in the Championship at the moment. But he failed to score against Middlesbrough. And he is only one goal ahead of Ante Budimir of Luton Town in second. So, if Sargent is going to win the Golden Boot, that's such a poor challenge. A booking is potentially a little bit soft. Let's look at it again. That's such a poor challenge. He's nowhere near the ball. The ball is long gone. So if Sargent is going to be top scorer, you would think he probably has to score today. I didn't think to check before the game. Sargent has his goal. Sargent has his goal. What a ball in from Marius Wolf. How many times have we seen that this season? Marius Wolf on the right-hand side, whipping the ball across the penalty area. And Josh Sargent getting on the end of it. That's now 28 goals in the championship for Josh Sargent. Absolutely pinpoint. What a run. Perfectly timed. Clinical finish. And at least if Sargent does have to go off, now he does have a goal to send him off on his way. And Sargent is still clutching at his hamstring. I'm not even sure he's going to make it to half-time. Coventry City make an early change. Not sure if that's a forced decision because of an injury or whether they are looking to make a tactical change in the game. But Sargent heading into the game was just a single goal ahead of Budimir. If Budimir failed to score as well, then he's now 2 goals ahead. But as I was saying just before Sargent scored, I didn't think to check. So Budimir may have even overtaken Sargent after the last round of fixtures. So we will just have to wait and see. Sargent has his goal. I think that is going to be all he manages, because he is certainly ailing at this point. I think he's going to have to come off. We've given it a good, 20 minutes? Maybe even 25. And he's still nursing that injury. So I think let's just put the ball out of play and let's make a change. So Sargent will make way. And Tieno Ballo will come on to replace him. Ballo, I think, has been a good signing this season. He struggled to get going in his first couple of months. But over the last couple of months, he's really progressed and he's really been an influential player in that number 10 position. His feet are so quick. He twists and I assume that was a Norwich free kick. Somehow that's a Coventry City free kick, apparently. But Ballo just has such quick feet. He twists and he turns. And he's so shifty. He can get away from danger and from pressing defenders with such ease and such grace. And he's not been bad in wide positions either. So if we do switch to a 4-4-2 next season in the Premier League, I have absolutely no doubt that he'll be able to transition to right midfield. And I'm sure at times next season, it will be relatively similar to this season. We'll chop and change systems depending on the opponent. Oh, Johnny Rowe. So we'll play the 4-2-3-1 that we have played most often this season in the Premier League. And so Ballo will be able to play the number 10 when we do that. We'll play the 3-4-3 from time to time as well. We'll look to be versatile in our approach. But I think in the Championship, we've been able to dominate possession. We've been able to really control the ball, really control the tempo against teams like we have done here against Coventry City. As Adamina hits the post, almost makes it 3. Nunez can't find space for a shot, just relays the ball to Kenny McLean. And we're simply not going to be able to control possession in the Premier League like we've been able to do in the Championship. We're going to have to concede that we're not going to have the ball against the best teams in the country. So how are we going to adapt to that? Borja Sainz, Wesley Hoyt, back to Jason Steele. The referee's half-time whistle goes. And it was exactly the kind of first half that we needed, with the exception of Josh Sargent being forced off. But we are 2 goals to the good. Doesn't matter what the Leeds score is. Leeds could be up 10-0 at half-time. It doesn't matter. Thank you for checking out this episode of our realistic Norwich City career mode. If you're enjoying the content, make sure you leave a like. And if you want to see more content like this in the future, make sure you hit that subscribe button. We're approaching the end of the FC24 cycle now, but there'll be plenty more content to come with the release of FC25, including 12th man memberships. If you want to get more involved with the channel, check out the membership tiers on my homepage. Memberships start at less than £2 per month and come with a whole host of benefits and rewards, including you being able to feature in my career mode saves. We'll be starting a road to glory with a created club as soon as FC25 drops. So if you want to be included in the save or even feature in our starting 11, become a 12th man member of the channel today. 12th man members also get exclusive early access to all of my videos, not only my career mode series, but also my realistic slider sets and everything else in between. If you want more information about exactly what each tier involves, be sure to check out this video on my homepage. If memberships aren't for you, you can also join the public area of my Discord server, or just keep watching and enjoying the content for free right here on YouTube. As always, I appreciate all of your encouragement and support. Now, let's get back to the video. So no additional changes as we emerge for the second half. Looking to have a second half much the same as the first. We could grab another goal just to make absolutely sure. That would be ideal. But honestly, if we just see the game out, that would be absolutely fine as well. Coventry have been poor. They really haven't offered much of a threat at all going forward. And they obviously can't deal with us defensively. That's so poor. That's so poor. This is the only way we are going to fail to win this game and fail to win the league at this point, is if we make silly mistakes like Jason Steele has just done there, gifting Coventry City possession in a dangerous area, and he has to make up for that mistake with a very, very good save. I don't know who Jason Steele is shouting at and why, because that was entirely his fault. Really poor pass out from the back, looking for Wesley Hoyt, but just getting nowhere close to finding him. Johnny Rowe takes a bit of a heavy touch. Oh, nice little touch from Sakamoto, though, and he has space to cross. Toffolo recovers. Borja Sainz back to help Toffolo out as well. I've not been massively convinced by Toffolo this season. He's been solid, but he hasn't been anywhere near as impressive as Marius Wolf. Coventry City have really come out with a bit between their teeth for the second half. Roles have been reversed in these opening 5 minutes. We have looked all at odds, and Coventry City have looked the dangerous team. Marius Wolf cuts inside. He's grabbed another assist for the season. Looks to grab another goal as well. He's cropped up with, I think, 4 or 5 goals. And I think he must be closing in on double-digit assists, Marius Wolf. It's been an absolute revelation this season. And we will undoubtedly see him win an award later in the episode, as Coventry look to come away down their right hand side once more through Sakamoto. We do need to bring Oliver Lawson on at some point today. That is one thing that I was planning on doing if we had a comfortable lead late in the game. And it's looking as though that should be the case. Bobby Parker has already played more than 5 games for us. I believe he's played 6 or 7. Oliver Lawson, I believe, has only played 4 at this stage. We do, of course, need to play 2 Youth Academy players in 5 games this season to achieve one of our custom objectives. So we can get Oliver Lawson on for the last 5-10 minutes or so. We can cross off that custom objective as well. The great thing about beating Middlesbrough is that we did reach 28 wins in the season. We should hit 29 here today, which means that we have also won 60% of our games, which was another of our custom objectives, and that was arguably our that was arguably our hardest objective to achieve and our most important, because if you remember, the reward for completing that objective was we open up another top player slot in our squad, which means we can sign Sims, good save, Steele. We can sign a player, I think it might be 6 overall higher than our club. And we were a 72 at the start of the season. Based on growth from players over the course of the season, narrowly wide from Coventry, who are really pressing for a goal to get themselves back in this game. Based on the development of certain players in our squad, I think we must be up to a 73 or a 74, which means we can sign a player about 79 overall as a top player. Completing that objective means we can sign 2 of those. Now, I don't necessarily think it's massively realistic for Norwich City to do that. So we have the option. Completing that objective opens up the possibility of doing that. That doesn't necessarily mean we are forced to. We can still do what we think is most realistic. Even more importantly than that, though, it just means we haven't failed the objective. Carried away again by Jason Steele. Callum O'Hare really single-handedly providing all of the threat for Coventry at the moment. If we would have failed that objective, that would have meant we couldn't sign a player more than 2 overall higher than our current highest overall. So Coventry do get a goal back, and he's offside. Everything is coming up Norwich City today. We really do need to get our act together, though, because we are just asking for Coventry to get back into this game. So the custom objective sounds a bit convoluted, but basically it means Josh Sargent is our highest overall at, I believe, 76, maybe 77. So if he's a 77 overall, we couldn't sign any players higher than 75, because that's 2 lower than our highest overall. What a save. Ida with the chance to absolutely make sure, after Coventry almost get back into it at the other end. Great save from the goalkeeper, though, as Kenny McLean will deliver the corner. Near post. What a save again. Callum Chambers, I believe, looking to open his Norwich City account. Completely free header. Turned it towards goal, to be fair to him. It was a decent enough effort, but with so much time and space, I was just waiting for that net to bulge. Barlow takes it down. Space out wide to deliver. Adam Ida. Goalkeeper tips it onto the post, but Adam Ida does secure the victory, and we are marching towards a league title. Absolutely no way back now for Coventry. Absolutely no way back now for Leeds. Absolutely no stopping Norwich City. League champions, with the highest goal scoring team in the league, with potentially the highest scoring player in the league. Premier League, here we come. What a way to finish the season in front of the home fans. I'm so glad this is a home game rather than away. And Johnny Rowe could just twist the knife. Tiano Ballo does it instead. We've said he's shown up in the last couple of months, Tiano Ballo, propped up with a couple of goals in the last episode to take us to an all-important victory or 2. It's not a massively impactful goal here today, but it does make the victory all that much sweeter, and it does make the final day of the season for the home fans that much more enjoyable. What a performance so far. So 2 more changes for Norwich City after the goal. Johnny Rowe to come off. Marcelino Nunez the same. Oliver Lawson is going to come on to make his 5th appearance. Liam Gibbs has come on as well. And I really thought, when Middlesbrough went ahead in the last game, when they equalised to make it 2-2 in the last game, I really thought this episode just wasn't going to go the way that we were hoping. But we dug out a last-minute victory. in that Middlesbrough game, and we have sauntered, cantered to a huge victory here as Liam Gibbs is looking to make it 5. Can't quite. Another good save from the Coventry City goalkeeper, but the floodgates have well and truly opened. Tiano Ballo looking to grab a second goal of his own. Instead pulls it back across goal, deflected and out for a corner, which Kenny McLean will again deliver. Can't quite win the header this time. Tiano Ballo on the edge of the box once more. Strikes from range. And it's a really good strike from range. Another really good save from the Coventry City keeper. It could have been 5 or 6 already if it wasn't for his performance. And it's going to be yet another corner. We will go short this time to Borja Sainz, who cuts onto his right foot. Curls one towards the far post. Didn't wrap his foot round it anywhere near enough. What a season he's had as well, by the way, Borja Sainz. Josh Sargent's numbers obviously stand out. Closing in on 30 championship goals, Josh Sargent. But Borja Sainz has been superb as well. Several goals, even more assists. Harry Toffolo beats his man. Who's that at the back post? It doesn't matter because Adamida is at the near and he grabs a hat-trick. The floodgates have well and truly opened. Adamida's first hat-trick in a Norwich City shirt. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure he hasn't... Has he scored a hat-trick in this series? I'm 99% sure he hasn't scored a hat-trick in real life for Norwich. I can't imagine that's ever happened. But I feel like maybe he scored a hat-trick earlier in the series. Maybe, potentially, not sure. But it's a hat-trick nonetheless for Adamida. And it's a 5-goal lead now as we head into the last 10 minutes of the game. We want 6, the home fans are shouting. We're not going to take our foot off the pedal at all going into these last 10 minutes. If anything, we're going to try and turn it on even more. Through Borja Sainz, who cuts back onto his right foot again. It's a good challenge by the Coventry City defender. Had to get it right, and he did. Could apply a bit of pressure. Nicely worked from Coventry. It's Route 1 football, but it worked out well for them. As Liam Gibbs just carries it out of play. Coventry City will make a change here, I think. Thorup's going to make his last change or two as well. So last 2 changes of the game for Norwich City. Borja Sainz and Kenny McLean to leave the field. Christian Fastnack, the hero of the Middlesbrough game. And Jacob Sorensen on to replace them. Did not expect that Fastnack performance in the Middlesbrough game whatsoever. He's been one of our most consistent performers this year, Fastnack, but he's been consistently poor. He's been really, really bad every time I've used him. But just 2 opportunities against Middlesbrough was all he needed to completely change our season. And I'm unsure what to do with him, to be honest. I'm still open to selling him this summer. Perhaps those goals would have increased his market value slightly. Tiano Ballo, can he get on the end of this? Adamida finds him. Tiano Ballo with the pace. Can he finish? No, he can't, but it doesn't matter. It's another deflection off the goalkeeper. It's another goal for Norwich City and for Tiano Ballo. And the fans were chanting, "We want 6." It's now "We want 7." Absolutely unbelievable scenes. Really good save from the Coventry keeper again. All he can do is, you know, stick out a foot, get something on it. Fortunately, the rebound went right into the path of Tiano Ballo. And I swear to you, I've changed absolutely nothing for this game. We are still on legendary difficulty. We are still on the exact same slider set. which is available via a video on the channel if you would like to utilize these sliders. Everything remains, not only from the Middlesbrough game, but from previous episodes. Coventry are just awful. Coventry are just awful, and we've just had far too much for them to deal with in this 4-4-2. Can we have another hat-trick? Why not? Why not? A hat-trick off the bench for Tiano Ballo. Unreal. Absolutely unreal. Absolutely unreal. I have no words. I mean, it's one thing for Adamida to grab a hat-trick on the last day of the season. He's played all 90. Tiano Ballo did come on in the first half, to be fair. He's played an hour or so. But 7-0. 7-0. Maybe we can play this way in the Premier League. Maybe we can take on the big clubs. The Arsenals, the Manchester Cities. Why not? Why not based on this performance? Well, because it's against Coventry City. That's why not. So we'll reel that back in. But 6 minutes of stoppage time. And I think 5 of those minutes are probably because of goal celebrations. If not all 6. But what a miserable day for those Coventry City fans. They could have a goal though. Wesley Hoyt comes across to deal with it. Let's keep a clean sheet. Come on, let's not spoil it by conceding at the death. Good challenge. Tiano Ballo comes away. Referee's whistle goes. 7-0 in the final game of the season to secure a league title. Harry Toffolo can't believe it. Tiano Ballo can't believe it. And understandably so. But what a performance over the second half of the season. It took a little while for the team to click, for the new system to really bed in, for new arrivals like Jason Steele, like Marius Wolf, Harry Toffolo, Tiano Ballo. Took them a little while to find their feet. But what a second half of the season we have had. When it clicked, it really clicked. We are comfortably the top scorers in the league as a team. I think we probably have the top goal scorer in the league in terms of Josh Sargent. And it's actually going to be Jason Steele to lift the trophy. Grant Hanley, of course, making his way up to Rangers. Kenny McLean being substituted off. Jason Steele left with the armband. And he does lift the trophy in front of the home fans as we celebrate a Season 1 league title. Johannes Thorup has already put a trophy in the cabinet. The cabinet is somewhat bare, it has to be said, at Norwich. They do have a couple of championship titles to their name, but very little beyond that. But we'll keep adding league titles. And he's lifting it in front of the Coventry fans. That's a little harsh. That is a little harsh, Jason. We've just beaten them. I mean, they've travelled all the way down from Coventry to see their team lose 7-0, and you're going and celebrating right in front of them. This is outrageous. For those of you that don't know the layout of Carrow Road, which is probably a number of you, that section that all of the players were in front of is just behind the players now. That's where all of the away fans are. Absolutely outrageous. So what a way to finish the season. 7-0 at the best of times is probably overkill, but I have seen the Leeds result and they did only manage a 1-1 draw with Cardiff. So technically we could have even lost today because our goal difference would have comfortably meant that we were still top of the table. But your final standings in the Championship are Norwich City finished top, 97 points, 95 goals scored, 44 conceded, giving us a massive goal difference of 51. Leeds do finish in second, and the playoffs will be Middlesbrough versus Hull City, Burnley versus Sheffield United. Oxford, Cardiff, Blackburn will be the teams that go down to League One, whilst Everton, Leicester, and our rivals Ipswich Town will be returning to the Championship, so no Old Farm derby in the Premier League next season. For those that are interested, Liverpool won the league only by goal difference, 82 points apiece for Liverpool and Manchester City. Arsenal and West Ham round out the Champions League teams, whilst Manchester United will be in the Europa League. And Sargent did manage to finish as Championship top goal scorer as well, so a league title and a golden boot. And not only that, but we have 4 players in the top 10 in terms of assists. Borja Sainz leads the way with 14, but Marius Wolf is second with a massive 12. Nunez contributed 11 and Johnny Rowe contributed 8 assists. And we complete the hat-trick of player awards. Jason Steele keeping 16 clean sheets, which is 4 more than the next best. So an absolutely dominant season. We really showed the Championship what we were about. The entire squad made a contribution as well, but there are certain players that will be picked out at the end of season awards. We have 5 awards to give out, some of which you guys have been voting on, and they will be for fans player of the season, managers player of the season, players player of the season, most improved player, and for signing of the season. You guys did, of course, vote for the fans player of the season, and there could only be one winner. It is, of course, Josh Sargent. He played 39 games in total across the Championship and the FA Cup. He scored 29 goals and contributed 2 assists. An unbelievable season for the striker. In my opinion, there can only be one winner for Manager's Player of the Season as well, and Johannes Thorup has decided to go with Borja Sainz. He scored 14 goals and contributed 14 assists in a massive 42 games in the Championship this season. Whilst Josh Sargent and Borja Sainz were clearly our 2 top performers this season, Kenny McLean's consistency really went under the radar. He played in all but one of our Championship games. He scored 8 goals. He contributed 6 assists. He was an ever-present part of the team, whatever formation we played. And he did, of course, take on the captain's armband over the second half of the season after Grant Hanley's departure. One player who wasn't necessarily our most consistent performer, but who certainly came good towards the end of the season, was Tierno Ballo. So he wins most improved player. In the end, he only contributed 8 goals and 4 assists in 42 games, but we really saw the best of him over the second half of the season. And whilst Tierno Ballo arguably could have won signing of the season, Wesley Hoyt had a shout for that award as well. But I think the clear winner has to be Marius Wolf. One of our more consistent performers this season, was a real threat up and down the right-hand side, solid defensively, and contributed a massive 4 goals and 12 assists in 48 games across all competitions. So with the 2024-25 season all but over, all that's left to do is wait for the results of the playoff games to roll in and tie up a few loose ends before the calendar ticks over into a new year. We didn't manage to sign quite as many Youth Academy players as I would have liked in Season 1, but Hugh Hunt certainly looks like a good option to promote to the first team at the end of Season 1. We moved him to centre-back and he did grow by 3 overall, making that change. So he's now a 65 overall, only 72 to 78 potential, but that's solid enough. And unfortunately, I missed the deadline to sign any of the players that we had on our previous scouting reports, but I did send the scouts out for another 3 months, and there are a handful of players we might as well sign here at the end of the season. William Lee, for example, only has a 69 average potential, but it could be as high as an 80, and he is worth 850,000, so should have a high overall right out of the gate. With such a low average overall as well, we don't even need to check with Buzzco's realistic signing calculator. We are guaranteed to be able to sign him to the Youth Academy. The same can be said for Evan Lewis, who has a 74 average potential with an 87 average potential. Morgan Reeve, unfortunately, is too quality a prospect for us to be able to sign, but at 77 average potential, Max Clark will be added to the academy as well. And then with a 71 average potential, Nikolai Lund could maybe offer us something down the left-hand side. So unfortunately, as we anticipated, no particularly impressive prospects. Nikolai Lund does have a high median work rate and 3 to 5 playstars. 57 overall is not too bad at 15 years of age. William Lee is 63 overall, but again, only that 58 to 80 potential, and low work rates are not something that are going to get you in a Johannes Thorup side. Only 0 to 1 play styles as well, but we will carry those players over into next season. And that's exactly where I will see you next season. It's been a thoroughly enjoyable season 1. Thank you for all of the support that you've shown to the series so far. Hopefully you've enjoyed it as much as I have, and hopefully we can kick on in season 2 and achieve what Norwich City have failed to achieve in real life and actually stay up in the Premier League this time. So I look forward to seeing you in series 2. Take it easy.